Hey folks, this is Gray here, and we are not going to ramble on too much here in the patio, but we're going to go ahead and go take a look at the garden and kind of do an update. And I want to show you the broccolini, which is a specific type of broccoli, and the reason why I chose it. We'll take a look around at some of the oopsies that I made and some things that I might be able to fix, I may not be able to fix. But as always, if you guys have any tips for me, please put those down in the comments. Like I said, this is my first year using raised beds. And I just got an update. The wife said that we have our finances put to the side for the third bed that we're going to build on Sunday, and that should be exciting. And finally, our whatchamacallit? Yeah, what is the name of this, folks? This is how I know you when you're getting old. I've been thinking about this plan all day, and all of a sudden, my mind went blank when I'm here on camera. Anyways, this is some of the dill that we have sprouted. It's looking pretty good. What we're going to end up doing with this dill is transplanting this into the third bed once we get that going, because dill is one of those plants that are really awesome to have. I like, ironically, sea bass with dill on it. It just tastes really good the way the wife cooks it. But there's also, you want to keep dill away from specific types of plants. It makes a great companion plant for some plants, but not others. So please be aware when you're planting certain things that some plants work well together, others not so much. All right, enough of me rambling on. Let's go take a trip to the garden bed. Let's kind of see what we got going on in the garden bed. And another beautiful Florida afternoon. The sun's starting to come down. Gorgeous. So anyways, and funny enough, this plant here is little Miss Gray. She decided to plant something right in the way of all this stuff that I got going on. She decided to just do it on her own. If you guys are curious about that, this is not drip irrigation. That line is actually a soaker hose. It just works better for me because I can kind of set this thing down and let it do what it needs to do. I plan on doing drip irrigation. I have a company that's going to end up working with me in regards to that. But yeah, that's for another video. Anyways, as you can see, the onions are doing pretty good. Some of them are a little smaller than others and whatnot. And here we are with the radishes. The radishes, let me see if I can get in here close with some of these radishes. Trying to see, there we go. That's a good spot. You can see them in there. There's a radish. And these are just about getting ready. Here another, let's say another week or so, I'll be harvesting these in there. I don't know if you can see those radishes. They're getting pretty good size in there. I'm trying to move my finger past that, as you can get deep in there and see those radishes. Here is where I made a boo-boo at. Look at my carrots. Somehow my carrot seeds moved and got wrapped up into here. And so I'm trying to figure out how to thin these carrots out. I did some thinning, but as you can see, there's several carrots in there. They should be at least an inch or so apart. If not, it's going to create some issues down the road. And of course, once I pull some of these radishes, that might create an issue either. But as you can see, I do have some issues there with the carrots and whatnot. But we'll figure it out. If not, hey, we learned from our mistakes. Somehow all my seeds from my carrots got mixed in with my radishes. Something I must have did. But I have a new toy to play with that's going to help me resolve that issue for next time. And even I got a couple of carrots floating over here somehow. Don't ask me how. It just happened to go there. Also, there's our lavender. We've been harvesting the lavender quite often. As you can see, it still has some beautiful little buds on there. So if I can back up so you can see that. But it's starting to bloom. Every time it does come, we come in and cut it and save our lavender. We love lavender tea. And then back here, I don't know if you guys can see that, that's my garlic. The garlic is kind of shooting itself up. As you can see there, the garlic. Basically, I did a row of garlic in here. And basically, once this garlic starts to spin over and kind of do this little thing here, and some people will harvest these as well. That's when I'll know to pull my garlic. But at first they took a long time to sprout, but they did. All right, so let's kind of take a look over here at the Brussels sprouts. As you can see, they took a minute to get going too. They're doing okay from my perspective. Everything looks good. The leaves look good. There's not too many. I don't see any bugs. And remember, this is all like, cold weather crops. And in Florida, summer is coming pretty good. But we have a couple Brussels sprouts. These are our cauliflowers. And as you know, if I back up a little bit, some of you folks were right. I did kind of pack this in kind of tight. We'll see how it all works out. I definitely want to do something with spacing moving down the road. And I think we got a couple of the purple cauliflowers and some white cauliflowers, but they're getting big. Here's the size of my hand to kind of give you an idea of the leaf size. So they're getting pretty big there. Of course, we got some of our herbs in here. This is a type of, I think this is a type of basil, if I'm correctly. Let me double check there. This is a pesto basil, I think, if I recall correctly. We decided to do something a little different this year. And then here is the broccolini that I use for the thumbnail. Broccolini is a little bit different than broccoli. It's a mixture of American broccoli and Chinese broccoli. I don't know if that's a good word to say, but anyways, what I like about broccolini in itself is even when you snap these off, here, you see all these other little, trying to get in here, these little sprouts. So once we take off this, I call it the center cut, once we pop that, and my wife won't let me do it, she wants to do it, so maybe we'll do some harvesting video on Sunday when me and the wife are off together. So we're going to give this a few more days. It's pretty tightly compact. You can see that I'm trying to give you a size comparison with my hand. So it's doing very well. But once we take this off, these little shoots, that's what a lot of people are sought after when it comes to the broccolini plant. And they'll be popping up everywhere. I'm trying to see if I can get on the other side of this plant here, but you can see there's shoots already coming. But once we take that off, they'll start to be a lot more, they'll start to produce a lot more. So what I did here, this is one of my pepper plants, of course, and it's gone a little crazy. It's, for some reason, it just decided to start. I kept on trimming it, popping the leaves off and the flowers off, and then I just said the heck with it and just let it go, because it really wanted to grow peppers. And this is another one of our pepper plants down here. I think this is a habanero, if I'm correct on that, because this is the first one I showed you is a sweet banana pepper, and the one over here, these are going to be your sweet heat peppers. As you can see, we've got some growing here and there, and they're kind of popping around too. A little short and stout plant, but very productive. Very productive. I've been harvesting this already. As you can see, this is the Ichiban plant here. The Ichiban. Sometimes my mind goes blank as I'm sitting here. But anyways, it is the Ichiban eggplant. I love this type of eggplant. My wife likes the Black Beauty back there. And we also have some Greek oregano doing its thing down here. We come out here and top this and eat some of this oregano. We add it to our foods. It's very fragrant, and you can see it's kind of like a ground cover, you know what I mean? Moving on to another one of our basil plants that has done some seeds, but as you can see, it's still a very, you just come in here, you can take one of these little tops here, pop that off, very fragrant, and I can say this is the Thai basil plant. We wanted to do a couple different basil plants this year. All right, moving on to the good old tomato plants. Let me move out of this way. So I'm going to do a whole video on this plant here. I know those tomatoes look very, very purple, but if you look at the bottom of them, you'll see that they're green. Once this turns red, that's when you know that you're going to harvest them, which is really cool. And these are basically, they're called a midnight snack tomato. But there's something very special about these tomatoes that I really enjoy, and it has to do with this purple coloring, but we'll get into that. I do have her staked, and she is producing tomatoes pretty much everywhere you can see. They're kind of everywhere for right now. These are the beans. I've been thinning them out. I got 3 left. I was going to even make them a little bit shorter, but I'm going to be trellising these here in the next week or so, along with this bean here. As you can see, it's starting to do its thing. There's only 2 down here. I think these are the 2 that I got. And they're doing their thing. And those are like my nitrogen fixers for the tomato plants. Now this is our other tomato plant here, which is an early girl. It's a early girl tomato. And I think You can see how thick that is. So she's a very healthy plant. And I think we have a tomato starting to form here. I recall, I think we got there. It's not like the cherry tomatoes over there, or more so the cherry-sized tomatoes versus the full-size tomatoes here. And this is called the early girl. Salvia is a very happy plant, as you can see there. The bees love this thing. The bees love this plant. It brings so much color to the garden. It's just a gorgeous thing, honestly, folks. I really love this salvia, this purple salvia. And here's my wife's favorite, which is your Black Beauty eggplant. And I think she has one growing down here. Let's kind of sneak the camera in down here. There she is. Come on, let's stop hiding from the camera. There you go. Look at that. And if you ever notice, these things have thorns on them. I'm trying to get up close on that. These things have some pretty good sized thorns on them, so you have to be careful with these plants. But she has grown. She is a huge plant. I mean, if you look at the size of these leaves, and this thing is going to be nice and thick, and is definitely going to be producing a lot more. Moving on to a couple of our other pepper plants here. Oh, look, you can see even more peppers. This is a green bell. I'm going to cut, so the wife won't let me cut it off yet. But basically, see how small the pepper plant is? But if you take these off, it'll focus more energy into growing the plant versus, making peppers. But all this stuff honestly needs to be harvested by this weekend. So this, we might even cut this off just to focus more energy into the plant itself. The one thing that my wife has been harvesting is she has been eating the heck out of this pak choy. She loves the rich colors. You can see she has been cutting this thing left and right. He is even starting to get it to flower, which is not good. Had a couple little pest issues with it, but not too bad. Like I said, I'm always checking the underside of the leaves for health around the bottom there. And I also like to look around here for bugs. Usually your aphids are coming around through here. There's different things you can do for that. But the wife has been consuming this pak choy like it's like her life depends on it. God, I just love that. Oh, look at that. There's even another sprout on the broccolini there. This thing it's going to be so awesome. They're very sweet and savory. And what's different about this plant is that you can actually eat, if I can get this in here, you can actually eat the stalks on it. It's very soft. You can blanch these things and then put them up for later, saute them. Believe it or not, restaurants love this type of broccoli. This is our spinach. And it looks like the spinach is very small, right? Again, the wife is always taking this spinach for her little shakes that she likes to do and whatnot. She's always tearing apart the spinach. When the spinach keeps on growing, she'll let it get to like a little puff ball, and then she will cut it back and let it do its thing. I told her, I said she should let it get a lot bigger, but she says, no, it's fine. So happy wife, happy life, as they say. But I'm hoping that these Brussels sprouts will continue to do their thing, and eventually we'll get because the Brussels sprouts will be in there once they start producing. But if you guys remember when I first left it, if you watched the video, I put a little link to the first video when we first did this. Everything has gotten pretty big. Even some of the marigolds are doing good. They've been doing their thing and helping repel things. One issue that we've been having is look at these little guys down here. Where are they at? These guys, these ants. We've been using cayenne pepper. We've been using cinnamon to kind of deter them. But they're little pesky little buggers. If you guys have any great ideas, organic, chemical wise, to get rid of ants or keep them away from your garden, let me know. I know they can be beneficial, but I know they can always also be a companion to the aphids. Anyways, let's move back out of this. Kind of pan around there a little bit, so you can see this bed is actually doing pretty decent. I can't complain for my first raised bed. Things are moving along, and by April I should be harvesting a lot of things out of here. You'll see all this eventually once it all comes to fruition and we harvest everything. We'll end up putting some new things down. We'll keep the pepper plants in here. We'll probably put some more tomatoes around in here and do some more summer crops in this bed, and kind of keep it going throughout the summer. We'll see how that plays out with this irrigation and whatnot that I have running through here. And then a quick sneak peek, but we're going to do the video next week on it. But just a sneak peek of the corn. Look how pretty that looks. Look how pretty that looks. Anyways, that's for another video, folks. Quick, I just wanted guys to show you my elderberry. As you can see, the elderberry is doing super good. She has propagated all over there. I've gotten more now as she's kind of found her way to make more elderberry. And basically the reason I'm keeping this in a grow bag is for the fact that this is something I'm going to take with me and transplant. I might eventually take one of her sprouts there, is what I'm calling it for now, and leave one here and grow it, possibly. All right, folks. Well, I really hope that you enjoyed that little garden tour. Sounds like the air conditioner is kicking on, so my apologies for that background noise there if you can hear it. I have a couple other surprises for you guys that I'm doing, some little projects that I'm doing, things that people said you couldn't do, but I've tried it and it's working surprisingly. And I'm documenting that along the way. And then once I document the whole process of that plant growing, or vegetable or fruit, possibly, I'm going to show you that whole video. But it's taking me, so far I've got about 30 days wrapped up into that video, just little kind of recording its progress and whatnot, and I'll show you the progress of that eventually when we put that video together. So if you enjoyed this and you had a good time, and go ahead and hit that thumbs up button. If you didn't, I guess hit the thumbs down button. Other than that, if you're new to my channel, go check out my gardening playlist. This is my 2.5 year mark, roughly, gardening. I think it is a little over 2 years. We did a lot of grow bags and whatnot for the folks that have been following me for quite some time. And then for the summer, after we do the Three Sisters, because we're going to be doing, I'm going to talk about that in the next video next week. We're going to be putting our beans in, and then after that, we're going to be putting our Seminole pumpkins in. So far so good. I'm happy with the corn. I've had some ups and downs with it, but I think we're going to get something out of it. So that should be pretty awesome as well. I'm trying to think anything else I wanted to add to this. Like I said, I got all kinds of things to kind of go into in regard to the gardening and other things that we're doing, our summer crops, our purple potatoes, our sweet potatoes, and a couple other little tidbits that we're going to be doing this summer. So stay tuned. We have lots of intriguing stuff and content to come out. Other than that, folks, remember, you are not alone. This is GreyMan. I'm out. I'll see you guys on a rebound, and God bless.